All right, well, we have a little optimism surrounding the Mariners finally. Chris Egan sitting in today for Groz, and we got a chance to catch up with a guy who put on a show yesterday. Now, the Mariners offense put on a show with 5 home runs, but 2 of them coming off the bat of Nick Franklin, who joined us on the program. You can check it out on the podcast on the page that you're on. But you solicited nicknames, and he's now being referred to as Nick the Stick, and hopefully that continues. Hopefully that name is going to be apropos moving forward, because I think we can all get caught up in being, prisoner of the moment. It was a great game, and maybe he goes, oh, he's a young guy. I kind of expect this, don't you?
22-year-old, yeah, but we got to give you credit, Bob. I mean, the Bob and Groz show came up with Legion of Boom. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Our listeners did, yeah.
And now Nick the Stick, 22-year-old. I mean, only 4 games in with the Mariners, but this is a guy, he is a youngster, 22 years old, but he's had over 1,700 at-bats in the minors. Told us he's been playing baseball since he was 3 years old, playing all year round. From 12 years up to 22 years old is how old he is right now. And I think obviously he's looking great with the bat, with those 2 home runs yesterday against the Padres. But his defense, I mean, it looks like Brendan Ryan and him have been playing short and second together for over a year now.
Now, I guess the concern, and it'd be a good problem to have, is if he were to perform so well that he's not going to warrant a trip back down to AAA. And Ackley will continue hitting very well at AAA, and you say, well, when does he come up? That's going to be a nice problem to have, but it is a problem, perhaps, and we talked to Shannon Dreyer about that, and it still sounds like if Franklin really excels and Ackley starts to find his groove and find his swing, that outfield is still an option for him.
There's some question marks. And speaking of outfield for Dustin Ackley, you got another guy down there in Tacoma, Franklin Gutierrez. What's his future hold with his team? Jesus Montero down there as well. So this club is going to have some tough decisions, and hopefully that's a good thing, because that would mean that things are going well with the big club, the Mariners.
Now, do you think if Nick Franklin's success continues, and again, we're extrapolating pretty far out here, but we've talked about the hot seat for Jack Z. Does this kind of make it a little cooler seat? Because this would be a prospect, a guy that we've all talked about, it feels like forever. We've been hearing about him. He gets called up, he succeeds. Does that take some of the heat off of Jack Z, or is it going to take more than that?
I think for the general manager, this is one of his prospects, and if he really comes out and starts delivering it, and I'm not quite sure what that would be, maybe hitting 290, he continues to show you some power, then I think that shows that Jack Z is hit with one of his prospects. There's more prospects out there. The pitchers, the big 3. You have Mike Zunino down in Tacoma, so we still want to see what happens there. Now, you also want to see this club win. So, I mean, if this club can't win and he shines, well, I think it cools it down a little bit, but I think that seat is still somewhat hot. In the end, if he shines and they lose, I think the seat is really hot for Eric Wedge.
Well, hopefully he shines and they win. That'd be the best scenario. So keep doing what you're doing, Nick.
And I think as we look at the schedule, Bob, I think you look at June and July, well, you strike now, because this is a team with over 18 home games in June. They have 14 home games in July, just 10 on the road in July. So this is a team that right now is the time to start winning.
Nick the Stick, everybody.